Okay, let's unpack this. If it feels like AI innovation is moving at, well, warp speed right now, you are absolutely not alone. Here we are, it's June 2025, and the breakthroughs just keep coming thick and fast.
It really is an incredible pace of change.
Yeah.
What's fascinating here is seeing capabilities that felt, futuristic just months ago.
Yeah.
They're rapidly becoming real, practical tools across so many different areas.
Exactly. And look, trying to keep up with all that, it can be completely overwhelming.
For sure.
Luckily for us, though, we've received this fantastic summary from an expert over at the University of Surrey. And it really cuts through the noise, highlights the absolute key AI announcements and developments just from this past month.
Yeah, in this material, it gives us a really focused snapshot of the cutting edge. It's not just who's announcing what, but crucially, where the tech is genuinely advancing.
And the big questions it raises.
And the critical questions these advances force us to confront. Exactly.
Yeah. So our mission in this deep dive, it's basically your guided tour through this intense period of AI progress.
Okay.
We're going to map out the most significant nuggets from the big players like OpenAI, Google DeepMind, Meta, Nvidia. Plus, dive into some truly fascinating specific applications. By the end, you should have a clearer picture of what these rapid changes mean for the bigger picture and potentially, well, for your world.
It's a landscape that's not just changing, it feels like it's accelerating. So it's really valuable to pause and look closely at these concentrated periods, like June.
Absolutely. Let's jump right in then. We should probably start with OpenAI. They always seem to be pushing the frontier.
Sounds good.
What caught your eye first from their recent announcements and the sources?
Well, what stands out immediately is their new O3 Pro model. The source describes it with this intriguing phrase. It's a reasoning model designed to think longer.
Think longer. Okay, that sounds promising. How does that translate into what it can actually do, though?
It means it's built specifically to tackle problems that require more steps. Deeper analysis, sustained reasoning.
Right.
The source really highlights its performance, saying it significantly outperforms rivals, particularly on complex tasks like PhD-level math and science problems. It offers much deeper insights.
Wow, PhD-level science. That's a serious leap in capability. I can see how that could genuinely revolutionize research.
For sure.
And even advanced education.
The potential is definitely transformative. However, the source is quick to raise a question about this power. Accessibility. How do tools like this, designed for such complex stuff, become accessible not just to the experts in labs, but to a wider range of people who could actually benefit?
That's a critical point. And speaking of accessibility, they made another huge move on that front with pricing, didn't they?
Absolutely massive. They slashed the price of the standard O3 model by a remarkable 80%.
80%?
Yeah, it dramatically lowers the barrier to entry for accessing truly advanced AI for individuals, for businesses globally.
80% is huge. And was that paired with their voice feature enhancements?
Right. The improved advanced voice feature, it now supports multi-turn translations.
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
It means it can handle complex back-and-forth conversations in multiple languages. It moves beyond just simple sentence translation to genuinely enhance global communication, kind of in real time.
So democratizing access through price and breaking down language barriers through voice, I mean, those sound like undeniably positive steps forward.
They do.
What's the flip side then, or the challenge highlighted in the sources regarding these changes?
Well, this combination of advanced capability and significantly lower cost, it intensifies competition dramatically. The source suggests this could potentially make it much harder for smaller AI players to compete, might even sideline them in the market.
A classic scenario where scale and resources just become this major advantage. They also mentioned something called deep research projects.
Yes, this is a new way the platform integrates deep research capabilities directly with the voice mode. The stated goal is to enable users to collaboratively explore complex topics, almost like having an expert research partner you can just talk to.
So wait, you can discuss a complex problem or a question, and the AI helps you pull in, synthesize, understand relevant research, all in real-time conversation.
That's the idea.
That could definitely speed up scientific discovery, complex problem solving.
Potentially, yes, really accelerating the research process. But the source adds a note of caution here. Integrating deep research capabilities like this, especially conversationally, needs careful oversight.
Right.
There's a sensitivity around potential misuse, particularly in areas like, say, defense research.
That threat of, a immense potential woven with real challenges is definitely emerging across these announcements. Okay, let's shift gears now and look at Google DeepMind.
Okay.
Their recent news seems to focus more on taking powerful AI and applying it directly to practical, real-world problems.
That's a great way to put it. One notable project they announced is called Extract, developed in partnership with the UK government. It's aimed at urban planning.
Urban planning. How does AI fit into that picture?
Extract is a system. It's powered by their Gemini models, and it's designed to convert incredibly complex, often jargon-filled planning documents into structured, usable digital data.
Ah, okay. So instead of planners having to manually sift through like reams of detailed reports and proposals, Extract can pull out the key information automatically.
Exactly.
That genuinely sounds like it could streamline city development processes significantly.
Exactly. Making that kind of information accessible and searchable is a huge efficiency boost for city planners.
Yeah.
The source does note, though, that working with this kind of detailed planning data raises important questions about privacy.
Understandable.
And how that sensitive information is used and protected.
Any other practical applications from DeepMind mentioned?
Yes, they also announced Weather Lab. This system uses AI to predict storm paths and intensity.
Okay, and is it just another weather model, or is there something specific about its capability that stood out?
The key takeaway from the source is its unprecedented accuracy in predicting severe weather events, like storms.
Unprecedented accuracy in storm prediction. I mean, that has immediate and potentially life-saving potential, right?
Absolutely.
Getting earlier, more precise warnings out can make a massive difference in preparing for and responding to severe weather.
Absolutely. The potential to save lives through better early warnings is clear. But the critical point, the source adds, is that the real-world impact of this tech, it depends entirely on ensuring equitable access to these warnings. All communities need to be able to receive and act on the information, regardless of their resources or, existing infrastructure.
That's a crucial layer of the problem. The best technology is only as good as our ability to get its benefits to everyone who needs them. Okay, stepping beyond the biggest labs for a moment, we're also seeing interesting developments from other companies, particularly around reasoning capabilities and building these world models.
Right, like Mistral, for example. They introduced their first dedicated reasoning models. Magistral Small, which is open source, and has 24 billion parameters.
24 billion, okay.
And Magistral Medium.
And they're highlighting a technique called chain of thought reasoning. What's that about?
Correct. Chain of thought, or COT, it's a method where the model basically breaks down its thinking process into a sequence of intermediate steps.
Okay.
This often leads to more accurate results, especially on complex problems, and it can make the model's reasoning slightly more transparent, which is useful.
Right.
A strength highlighted for the Mistral models is strong support for multiple global languages like French, Arabic, Spanish.
Multilingual capabilities are definitely increasingly important as AI adoption grows globally. Does the source note any areas where these models might, lag compared to some others?
Yes. While strong in multilingual tasks, they are noted as currently lagging a bit in performance on STEM subjects and coding compared to some of the other leading models we've discussed. It kind of highlights how different AI capabilities are developing along different paths.
Fair enough. I guess not every model needs to dominate every single area. What about Meta's V-JEPA? That name sounds pretty technical.
It does. V-JEPA is described as a 1.2 billion parameter world model. Its specific strength and focus, according to the source, is excelling in visual understanding.
Visual understanding for a world model. How does that fit together? What does that enable?
Well, world models are AI systems that try to build an internal simulation or sort of an understanding of how the physical world works.
Okay.
By focusing V-JEPA heavily on visual data, the potential application is enabling robots to not just see, but really understand their environment.
Right.
Predict what might happen if they interact with objects, and then plan and execute tasks in that real-world environment.
So robots that can look at a complex scene, like a factory floor or even a home, understand the spatial relationships, the physics, just based on vision. And then figure out how to perform a task, like assembling something or tidying up. That sounds like a big step towards more intelligent, autonomous robots.
Precisely. Especially for automation in areas like manufacturing.
Yeah.
It's about moving robots closer to true physical intelligence. The source does point out a potential limitation for V-JEPA, however. Its high computational demands.
Ah, okay.
Running models like this requires significant computing power, which could limit its accessibility to organizations that don't have, huge computing resources.
Resource constraints definitely seem to be a recurring theme, limiting access. Okay, moving from the abstract models to the physical world itself, robotics and physical AI saw some fascinating advancements highlighted this month, too.
Absolutely. One company, 1X, had a key development with their Redwood neural network.
Redwood, okay.
The interesting part here is that it unifies language control, locomotion, how the robot moves, and manipulation, how it interacts with objects, all under one system for the humanoid robots.
So like one brain coordinating how the robot understands commands, walks around, and uses its hands. That sounds quite integrated.
It is, and the source gives specific, pretty compelling examples of tasks this enables, like opening doors or even handling laundry.
Opening doors and doing laundry. Okay, now that paints a very vivid picture of potential household automation. That sounds, well, amazing, but also maybe a little unsettling depending on how you feel about robots in your home.
Hey, yeah. The potential to transform household chores is significant, but yes, the source directly raises the concern about the risks of job displacement.
Right.
Particularly in service sectors where physical tasks like cleaning, delivery assistance, or basic assembly are common.
That's a very direct human impact to consider alongside the tech capability. Nvidia's GTC conference also brought some significant announcements relevant to physical AI, didn't it?
Several pieces came out of that. First, Nvidia Cosmos Predict 2. This is described as an open-world model specifically designed for physical AI.
An open-world model for physical AI. What's the potential there? Simulation?
Exactly. The potential is huge for creating highly realistic simulations of the physical world. Think training and testing robotics, autonomous vehicles, or other complex physical systems safely in a virtual environment before deploying them in the real world.
Simulations are absolutely essential for safety and development, for sure. What's the challenge or concern noted here in the source?
The source notes that with models capable of simulating real-world physics and outcomes so accurately, there's a strong need for robust ethical guidelines.
To prevent misuse.
Exactly, to ensure they aren't misused.
Makes sense. Simulating dangerous scenarios needs careful governance. What else from Nvidia?
GR000T N1.5 3B.
Oh.
This is described as a 3 billion parameter open foundation model, aimed at enhancing the reasoning abilities of humanoid robots.
So another key piece, making humanoid robots smarter and more capable, essentially.
Exactly. It supports the development of more advanced robotics, giving humanoids greater autonomy. And as these robots become more capable and potentially widespread, the source highlights fundamental concerns around control and safety in human-robot interactions. How do we ensure we maintain control? Guarantee safety as their abilities grow?
Those are certainly big, fundamental questions we need answers to. And there was a platform announcement from Nvidia as well.
Yes, DGC Cloud Lepton. This is presented as a managed AI platform and GPU marketplace.
Sounds like infrastructure to make building and deploying AI easier. What's the upside there?
Well, it aims to streamline the process of developing and deploying AI applications by providing a managed platform and marketplace for computing resources.
Right.
The goal is often presented as democratizing access to the necessary hardware. But the source adds a note of caution. While aiming for democratization, such platforms can sometimes, in practice, end up favoring larger corporations who can utilize the scale and resources more effectively than smaller innovators.
It's a real challenge to build systems that truly level the playing field for everyone. Outside of the major players, we also saw some interesting robotics news from smaller companies highlighted.
Indeed. Physical intelligence demonstrated something they call real-time action chunking.
Real-time action chunking. Okay, what does that enable a robot to do differently?
The key here is that it allows robots to perform physical actions while they are still processing information or planning the next step. Instead of a strict think then act approach, they can integrate thinking and acting more fluidly.
So kind of like multitasking for robots, integrating perception and action much more closely?
Essentially, yes. This significantly speeds up physical tasks, particularly those involving object manipulation or assembly.
Right.
The source notes the potential to greatly enhance efficiency in areas like manufacturing or logistics.
Makes sense.
On the other hand, it also points out that this increased efficiency could accelerate the rate of job automation.
There it is again.
Which highlights the need for proactive workforce retraining initiatives.
Another example where the technological gain has these direct implications for the human workforce. Any interesting developments on robots being more robust or, able to handle unexpected situations?
Yes, Lumos Robotics showcased something quite striking with their LUS-1 humanoid. It demonstrated recovering from a fall in just 1 second.
1 second. That's incredibly fast. Why is that capability particularly significant?
Well, being able to quickly recover from unexpected pushes, slips, or falls is absolutely crucial for robots that need to operate in unstructured environments.
Right, not just flat factory floors.
Exactly. Places that aren't neat, predictable factory floors. Think of navigating a cluttered home or in an uneven outdoor space.
Yeah.
This kind of resilience is key for more widespread real-world deployment. And the source highlights that seeing robots become this physically agile underscores the growing need for robust safety standards to keep pace.
That makes perfect sense. The more capable they get, the more important safety becomes. And finally, from Galbut Robotics, what did they announce?
They released something called OpenWBT. This is described as an open-source VR teleoperation system, specifically for controlling humanoid robots remotely.
An open source system to control robots using VR. Interesting.
Yes. Making the underlying system open source has the potential to really spur innovation. Makes it accessible to researchers and developers worldwide to experiment with and improve how we control complex robots. But the source does raise a point about security here. An accessible system for controlling powerful physical robots requires extremely robust security measures to prevent unauthorized access or, misuse.
That potential for misuse just keeps coming up across different types of AI, doesn't it? Okay, let's quickly look at a few other specific applications and tools highlighted in this month's summary.
Right. Sakana AI from Japan introduced something called Text-to-LoRA.
Text-to-LoRA.
It's described as a hyper-network that can generate task-specific LLM adapters without needing a lot of extra data for fine-tuning.
Okay, hypernetwork and adapters sound a bit technical. Can you give us the high level on that?
Sure. Think of it like a specialized AI that's really good at quickly creating tiny, custom AI add-ons for a larger language model. So instead of retraining the whole large model, or even a big part of it, this system can generate a small piece tailored just for a specific task, like generating customer service responses for a particular product.
Right.
Without needing lots of examples for that exact task.
So it enhances the flexibility and customizability of large language models for different uses, like customer service, makes them easier to adapt.
Exactly. It aims to make it easier and faster to tailor AI for specific jobs. The source does note, though, that even these smaller, quickly generated pieces need safeguards to prevent inheriting or introducing biases.
Bias remains a challenge at pretty much all levels of AI development, it seems. Okay, shifting gears entirely, Snap made an interesting announcement about future hardware.
Yes, a pretty bold move, actually. They plan to launch AI and AR-powered immersive specs in 2026.
Specs.
And this is particularly interesting because of their partnership with Niantic Spatial to build a shared AI world map.
A shared AI world map. That sounds ambitious. Like the digital twin of the physical world, but built for AI and augmented reality.
It does, yeah. And it's definitely positioning them to challenge the major tech players who are all exploring this space, Google, Meta, Apple.
Right.
The significant concern highlighted in the source regarding AR glasses like these, especially when building a persistent world layer like that, is privacy.
Yeah, I can see that.
The sheer amount of data these devices could collect about users and their environments is a major area of focus and concern.
Privacy in augmented reality is definitely a frontier with some complex questions. And in the creative AI space, ByteDance made some waves too.
They did with Seedance 1.0. This model is focused on generating short video clips, specifically 5-second 1080p videos.
5 seconds feels quite short for a video. What's notable about it then?
Well, the source highlights its key feature as enabling multi-shot storytelling within that brief time frame.
Okay.
And importantly, it's reported to outperform existing models like OpenAI's Sora or Google's VO3 for this specific capability.
Okay, multi-shot storytelling in high definition, surpassing current leaders in that specific task. That definitely has massive potential for creating short-form content quickly and creatively.
Immense creative potential, absolutely, particularly for platforms where short video is dominant. However, the ethical concerns are immediate and significant, as the source points out.
Let me guess. Deepfakes.
Exactly. The potential for generating highly realistic deepfakes and the broader challenges this poses for content authenticity, identifying what's real online.
A challenge that seems to grow with every leap in generative AI. Now, the summary also mentioned an electric vehicle. That seems a bit different from the rest.
It does, yeah. Infinite Machines Olto EV It's described as a $3.5K bike lane electric vehicle.
3,500, wow.
Yeah, with a 40-mile range and built-in anti-theft features.
A small, affordable electric vehicle designed for bike lanes. How does the source connect that to the AI landscape we're discussing?
Well, the source includes it as part of the broader picture of the tech landscape that AI is rapidly influencing. While the Olto itself isn't an AI model, its existence and potential for eco-friendly urban impact, its affordability. It reflects the kinds of products emerging in an ecosystem shaped by technological shifts. That includes AI's role in logistics, urban planning, which we just talked about,
Right.
and potentially even future autonomous features down the line. Its viability, the source notes, depends heavily on supporting urban infrastructure, like dedicated bike lanes and accessible charging.
So, part of the wider ecosystem impacted by technological change. Got it. And finally, a specific coding tool was mentioned.
Yes, Cosine introduced Genie. It's highlighted as a cutting-edge AI coding tool.
AI tools for coding are definitely becoming widespread now. What does the source specifically point out about Genie?
Well, the source actually mentions it has a 7-day free trial available, gives the website cosine.ash, indicating their approach to getting the tool into developers' hands to try it out.
Right, streamlining the coding process with AI is a clear benefit for developers. What's the question or potential downside the source raises here?
It raises a fundamental question that comes up with many powerful AI coding tools. The potential for developers to become over-reliant on the AI, which could impact their fundamental coding skills or maybe their deep understanding of the code the AI is actually generating.
Another area where the tool's power needs to be balanced with its potential impact on human skill and expertise. Okay, so we've just unpacked a tremendous amount here.
We have.
From AI models reasoning at a PhD level and robots learning to do laundry, to AI systems planning cities, generating realistic video, helping developers code. Let's try and connect some of these dots. Based on this snapshot from June 2025, what's the overarching picture the source material paints about where we are?
I think the clear message from the source is that these advancements, they're not happening in isolation. They are converging rapidly, and they have profound, wide-ranging implications across almost every sector and aspect of life.
Okay, on the positive side, what's the big potential payoff we're looking at according to the source?
The source points to immense potential for economic growth and innovation. We saw examples in healthcare potential, urban planning efficiency, advanced robotics, creative tools. But these capabilities are set to impact countless other fields.
And what about the significant risks or challenges that were highlighted?
Those are also laid out very clearly. The potential for deepening inequalities, significant job displacement as automation advances,
Right.
and increased capabilities for surveillance.
That sounds like a future with very high stakes indeed. What's the crucial condition the source puts on whether those risks actually materialize?
It emphasizes that these significant risks exist if, and it's a big if, these powerful technologies are not managed and developed ethically.
Okay.
The technology itself holds potential for good, but its impact depends heavily on how it's guided and controlled.
Which leads to the call to action that was presented in the source material.
Yes, it highlights the critical need for collective efforts involving developers, policymakers, the public, everyone really, to ensure AI development is inclusive, transparent, and ultimately benefits everyone in society, not just, a privileged few.
So, looking back at this deep dive into June 2025's AI landscape, I mean, from sophisticated reasoning models and world models enabling smarter robots to practical tools for city planning and creative content, it's clear this was a period of significant acceleration.
It really demonstrated powerful technological progress across multiple fronts, and it underscored that the essential conversation about potential benefits versus societal risks needs to happen right alongside the development itself.
Absolutely. It's a future being built incredibly fast, filled with, yes, immense potential for transforming our world for the better, but also presenting very real challenges we have to navigate carefully. So maybe the thought to leave everyone with is this. Given the sheer speed and breadth of the changes we've discussed today, what role do you think individuals and communities need to play to ensure this future benefits everyone and not just a select few?
That's definitely a question worth thinking about as these technologies continue to evolve. A truly crucial question for all of us.
Indeed. Well, thanks for diving deep with us on this one. We'll catch you on the next one.